the Huskies. Um, Thanks, Aaron, for being with us, and congratulations on a really crazy win. Uh, so, uh, Justin, we'll go ahead and start with you. Go ahead with questions for Aaron Hodges.
Aaron, first question is what is that feeling like being a part of that type of game? You guys were down, I believe, 20 points at one point, 17. Especially guys, you didn't have that great first quarter. What does this moment feel like right now, coming back and winning?
Really, it's kind of mind blowing. Just the fact that we were down nearly 20 and we stayed together as a team and fought our way back, handled the ball, and did what we need to do. And really, we're just all proud of each other for coming together and getting the job done.
This is your second time facing that Boiling Green really tough defense. They love to really like to press and create chaos. How do you feel like you guys? I know that first quarter was not great, but how do you guys, through second to the end of the game, how do you feel like you guys were able to handle that throughout that part? Because that was
I
some really tough defense.
Right. They are very handsy and aggressive on defense, but I feel like we just had to get our minds right and be tougher than what they were trying to do to us. And then we just had to handle the ball. We knew what needed to get done.
Aaron, sorry, this I know they're doing speakers, but Aaron, these last couple games and even this, I mean, this new part of the year stretch, you have found yourself more comfortable and comfortable. You were able throughout this game able to handle that pressure. What are some of the things that you've been really improving on? I know you've had some bad luck with the injuries and stuff like that to be ready for this point.
It's definitely taken a good amount of time to get to this point, but it really is just the hard work that I had to put in and being like having my teammates be a crush for me. But it's just the extra time that I have to put in and also strengthening mentally myself. And so just being ready to handle what what the season was going to bring for me.
Uh, Aaron, you guys did not have the best start to the season, but you guys have won seven of your last eight. How does that feel? Because you guys are really hitting your groove in a key stretch. You're 2 months away from conference tournament time, and you guys are hitting on all cylinders.
It feels great. I mean, even though we didn't have a very good start to the season, I think it takes time to kind of figure out who you are as a team. And as we've played each and every game, we found out more and more who we are. And so we're using that each and every game to attack teams.
That's all I had for you, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank
Aaron,
you.
I just have one question. What does a win like this can do for the confidence of the team? Just the way that you guys never gave up and fought through the whole game.
It does a lot for our confidence. It'll keep everybody in good spirits and ready for us to attack the next team. But knowing the MAC is what it is, you have to come prepared to each and every game because the MAC is such a good conference that anybody can take the dub basically. So it's just preparing us and keeping us to work hard each and every practice so we can play to the potential that we know we can be.
Great. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Johnny Poison with us. And Justin, we'll go ahead with questions from you from the Northern Star for Johnny.
Aaron, I'm not sorry, John. Hey, I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Aaron. What was that feeling like? Being down 17 at one point, I believe, in that second half, come back and win, and you had a couple big 3-pointers to get you guys back in the game.
Yeah, it was kind of all of a sudden. I didn't really realize how close we were inching to until coach had like pulled me to the side and said it's under 10. So I think we were really just locked in, like really trying to just focus on each and every possession. So it wasn't like, oh, we're coming back, we're coming back. It was like, oh, we're already there kind of thing. So, but once we were there, the energy picked up even more. So
Another question I'd asked Aaron, that on-ball defense by Bowling Green is probably, and I've covered you guys for 3 years now, it's probably the toughest I've seen you guys face. They don't allow you guys to get off on screens or anything like that. What are some of the things you were trying to do to get open for 3-pointers?
for I was just trying to like stay calm. I wasn't trying to do too much or overdo my part. I didn't want to try to force something that wasn't there. And then I really, this game, I wanted to try and focus on finding my windows because coach had talked to me earlier in the week about how I'm not doing all that I can to get open. So helping Shelby out to find those windows, helping Jaden out, I think is what I really try to focus on this game. So.
Johnny, my last question for you is: you guys have shown so much resiliency throughout the season. There's been so many tight games. Is that something to attribute you guys from your coach and how much she pushes that in practice, or is that so much as a team collective that you guys are not going to ever give up on anything really? Because I know a lot of teams when you're 18, 19 down, that I know they're not going to give up. They're not going to. You guys really push yourself back in there forcefully, quickly.
Yeah. When I think of like resiliency with this team, it makes me think of like the 16-17 team. I feel like our team is very similar to that team. Like the amount of energy and the amount of like we have, I think is probably the most it's been. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because we're so deep. So it's like everyone that's coming in knows what they have to do and knows what our goal is. And I think that's why we're so resilient, because everyone wants to play their role to the best of their ability, and we all want the same thing. So,
thank you, John. That's all I had.
John, I just have one question with Shelby kind of, getting off to a slow start on her end from the offense and the shooting. And she's obviously, one of the top scorers on the team. How much do the rest of you guys really concentrate on either, getting open so she can find you, and then making sure you're knocking down shots to pick that up?
I think we're just always trying to stay ready. Obviously, Shelby's a really great scorer and she's a really good finisher. So if she gets caught up, we just have to always be ready to knock down the pass that she gives us. And I think we did a really good job of that tonight. So
great. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks.
Good night.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, and now we're joined by head coach Lisa Carlsen. Lisa, as best you can, kind of sum up that game for us and give us a statement.
Yeah, I don't know that I can give you a statement except what a tale of two halves. I heard John and Aaron both talking about the resiliency, and I think this group really, really displayed what we talk about all the time as far as staying in the moment and losing yourself in the details of each possession. That was the only thing that gave us a chance in the second half. And a lot of people in a lot of different situations, even if it was only a few possessions, really stepped in and did their job. And it was obviously fun to be a part of, and I'm really proud of this group.
All right, we'll go to questions then. Justin from the Northern Star. Go ahead, Justin.
Coach, you talked about the team's resiliency, but that first quarter did not go too well for you guys. You only scored 7 points. What is that mindset coming off the floor, getting ready for the second quarter? Because I know a lot of teams during that point, you kind of have an early set of doubt, but what are some things you said to your team to kind of prevent that and say, hey, we're still in this game. We can still win this game?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we tried to get across is it's a 40-minute ball game, not a 10-minute ball game. Obviously the first 10 minutes there was hardly anything that went well, like you mentioned, but the good thing about it happened in the first quarter, doesn't happen in the fourth quarter. So, we know we have enough firepower to overcome that. Especially lately, I think we've shown that we are good enough defensively to string some stops together. And those are the situations that gave this group enough confidence in the second half to know that we could still get ourselves back in it. And I think that's what you saw.
Coach, I asked both Johnny and Aaron, what's it like playing in a type of game like this? What does it feel like to coach in a type of game like this? Because I imagine you were just as nervous as they are at points.
Yeah, I think I'm too old for this. I think this is one of those games that you'll go back and watch, and because right now you're just like, what just happened? It was so bad to start. And again, you have to give Bowling Green a lot of credit. I know you said, I think, to John A, how their on-ball defense especially is the best in the league, in my opinion. And we just didn't handle it. They were so good defensively. And then obviously came out and shot the lights out in the first half. And so that combination of those two things was not good for the Huskies. But I think we kind of settled in a little bit and going up and down the stat sheet, just looking at the minutes that certain people gave us and the contributions that they made, regardless of what the stat sheet says, it just shows that our depth is critical to our success.
Coach, you talk about Bowling Green's defense. You guys had a really good second half defensively. You guys were able to create turnovers when you needed them. I mean, there was at points at times where you guys, I think, recorded like 3 or 4 in a row, and then you guys were able to get back in this game. How recently your defense in the second half has been consistently getting better and better throughout the season?
Yeah, I think we have a group right now that understands that that's as critical as the offensive end, and also that they're taking great pride in that. Coach Alexis and Coach Jane have done a phenomenal job as our defensive coordinators of really continuing to try and put us in the best position to defend the opponent. So from a preparation standpoint, I think the players are well-versed on what we're trying to accomplish. They're also ready to make adjustments when needed. And really in the second half, when we were getting steals and getting stops, that's what obviously jumpstarted our offense, because then we were able to play in the open court a little bit, get a couple easy ones and take a deep breath and not have to deal with their half court pressure, which obviously they showed in the first half was really, really good.
Coach, my final question is, you guys have won 7 of the last 8 games. Is there something that I know you guys had a tough first half of the season, non-conferences, but is there something you've seen in your players that have clicked, and that's just why you guys have been so successful the last 8 games?
I think the difference is this is a very confident group, and they're not only confident in themselves, but they're confident in each other. And again, I don't think there could be more on display than what you saw in the second half tonight, understanding that they're still going to be okay if they stick to what they do. And I think that is what has led to our success. This is a group that understands that the conference championship is up for grabs, and we're in the hunt, and we have to take it one game at a time whenever those games are, whenever we get the opportunity to play, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but understand big picture wise, it's for the taking. So I think our whole roster understands that, and that's a pretty special thing.
Thanks, Coach. That's all I had.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
All right. And Lisa, just a few from us here. Coming out at halftime, down 17, and I think it ended up going down 20. What was the, mindset of that at that point of were you trying to get to a certain, points down by the end of the quarter or by a certain time to make you feel good about, your chances at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in segments. We come out in the third quarter. We talked about the first 5 minutes. Can we get it down to, 11 or 12? And then I think John A mentioned it. It was almost, it almost snuck up on us that it was then at 10, in the third quarter. And we were like, we're going to be okay, because we had played so well defensively that we felt like we were at that point in it. So I think anytime you're looking at a deficit like that, you have to cut it down in chunks and really, how can we get to this point and cut into the lead a little bit? Even in the second quarter, I know it was only a 1-point difference, but we talked about that at times. We had cut it down a little bit in the second, then they went on that little mini run again right before the half. But you have to look at it like that. You can't look at the scoreboard and be like, well, we're down by 20. We're in a lot of trouble.
And then the 3-point shooting, obviously, in the first half was not there. And just how much confidence do you all have to just keep firing away and that, and to see it come around in the fourth, is that just knowing that you have the shooters and the people that will make that happen?
Well, that and I think, again, you have to give Bowling Green credit. We didn't have looks that we wanted necessarily in the first half. Even the threes that we took, I didn't think were great looks. When we were able to get stops, open up the floor a little bit, and then find shooters in better positions where they have their feet set, can let it fly. I mean, all shooters are going to feel better in that situation. So I just think we got better looks, mostly because of our defense in the second half, and that allowed us to settle in a little bit from behind the arc.
And then what does a 20-point comeback do for this team going forward?
Well, when I think about what we've gone through and the different teams that we've played, even from the beginning of the year, and I said this a couple of times in January, I feel like we've seen almost everything with the teams that we've played. You know, and some of those games we didn't win early, but we were put in situations to have to execute in different schemes, you know, whether a team is long, whether they're athletic, whether they like to slow it down. I mean, we've seen almost everything. And so I think they draw from those experiences. And again, I think that happened at times tonight where they're like, okay, well, we've been there, we've done this. We know what we have to do to have success. And then you saw it happen. So this will be just another game, again, with that kind of deficit, and then to come back to win it. It'll be another notch in our belt. We're like, okay, well, we have the firepower to do it because we've done it now. I think all those experiences are huge going down the stretch.
Great. Well, congrats on the win tonight, and thanks for being with us.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.